Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, I'm here with Telepathic Bunny Comics, and exactly what you think a telepathic bunny looks like is exactly what this gentleman looks like. So there you go. Yeah. Oh, where's the bunny ears?
Greetings.
We were talking before. He was in a full rabbit costume, like Ralphie from. But
Afraid not.
Being silly. So thank you for coming. How you doing?
Yep. Oh, I'm doing all right. Happy to be here. Happy
to talk. Oh, see comments pop up already. Oh, hi. How you doing? I'm a little flustered. I literally walked in the door 15 minutes ago. Long day at work, and it was 100 degrees here in New York. So
wow.
Let me focus. Let me calm down. Where are you living?
I am living in foothills of North Carolina.
What's the weather like there now?
It's muggy. It's pretty much muggy.
It's muggy. I could deal with the heat, but I can't deal with the mugginess. I'll never live in Florida. I lived in Albuquerque. I don't care how hot it got. It was dry. I could deal with it. But oh man.
Well, I have a friend of mine that I went to school with growing up. Came back home. She lives in Arizona now, and for her mother's funeral, and she said that she stepped off the plane and immediately it's like all the moisture got sucked out of her body when she stepped out. From Arizona to North Carolina, and she's like, I forgot what this heat is like, because she's used to the dry heat. There really is a difference.
Are you a fan of the hot and muggy, or there's some people that love it?
I happen to be cold natured,
Yes.
I prefer it cold. So
we can all agree the fall is the best.
Absolutely. I am a big fall guy.
Oh, you got fans already. Mortal Rising Comic.
Really? Hey, what's up, Aaron?
All right, so let's stop beating around the bush. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about community service, Escape from Little Bighorn, preambles. So the overarching series is community service. The 3-book arc is Escape from Little Bighorn, and this is the first one. It's just preambles. There's going to be 3 in the arc: preambles, articles, and amendments.
Okay.
So
I remember you sent me some art, and Ironsides is your character.
Ironsides is the chief character. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I got to say I fell in love with that design. You had asked to come on my show, and then you sent. And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of booked. And then you said, I said, all right, I like this. If I remember, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but you said you're a Captain America fan. So
huge Captain America fan. Well, yes, sir.
I think you could tell that I might be a Captain America fan over here.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you said that you weren't too happy with the way things are going, so you made up your own character.
Well, I felt like they took something out of that. They messed with something that should be in culture. They screwed with it, and I felt like it needs to be there somewhere in America's culture, and so I set out to put it back.
Yeah, I agree somewhat. So I agree. I agree that. And I feel bad that I always end up talking about the big two, but you can't. Yeah. Like if you're talking about comic books, you can't.
It's monolithic. They're monolithic. So
I feel that the characters are bigger than the creators.
They are.
And I feel that you do not have the right. Like, okay, let's just say, what is your name? I call you Telepathic Bunny.
Cooper is fine.
Cooper works. Cooper and John, we get hired to I'm writing the Fantastic Four. You're writing Spider-Man. I don't get to tear down Spider-Man or put my fetishes or even my politics.
No. You didn't used to. You didn't used to. No.
Right. I feel that is disrespectful, and I feel that characters that are part of it's like. Let's put it this way: I don't get to walk into a museum. I'm the curator of the museum and put mustache on the Mona Lisa.
Right.
Even though I personally think it deserves a mustache, I don't get to do that.
Well, the equivalent, to me, the equivalent in comics was if somebody decided to deface Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Because
they should put Jack Kirby up there.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I'd be okay with that, but
but we can't. As much as we think it would, other people would be, So right. Yeah, I'm being facetious, but it makes the same point. Just because it's something that we agree with, we shouldn't do it either.
Well, the thing about it is I felt like, and somebody, what's up, dude?
File 13 says, "I'm sorry, I got to listen to the fans."
Right, right. Well, I felt like the thing about it was
This is a comment right here.
yeah, politics is fine. Pushing political agendas is boring. Yes. Um, but when I saw that they had done that,
Yes,
no,
we are
we're
separated
not.
at birth.
Yeah, we're brothers from another mother. There you
Yep.
go. But when I saw that that had happened, I got actually physically ill because I understood that the editorial had gone so far in Marvel Comics that they were going to let these people do anything to anybody,
Right.
and that was the death knell of Marvel Comics. And so I felt like it was like somebody walked over my grave when I saw that, because I was like, if in Gail Simone made a statement one time, it was kind of eerie, but she said that white male heroes has been tent pole, and it's okay to chip away at that. And it's like, that's,
How's that working out for you, Gail?
yeah, it's colossally stupid, because you take the tent pole down, the whole thing comes down.
Well, you
And
know what?
yeah,
To use, I, you know, if things are bottom up, I have no problem with it.
right.
If Gail Simone wants to create a new redheaded woman character and that
Yeah,
character's a hit,
yeah,
we'll put up another pole in that tent. I got no problem with
absolutely,
that. You know what I mean? Like the tent can
absolutely.
have a million tent poles. Why
Right,
not?
right.
It
Yeah,
makes the whole thing sturdier. But to chip away, what are you replacing it with? You know,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly. And Captain America in particular, Captain America had made it into the zeitgeist.
Correct.
He had made it to the normies. The normies were starting to wear Captain America T-shirts. They were aware of him in a way that they previous generations hadn't been. He superseded the comicdom and had made it out to the culture as an
Here's a
icon.
word that I don't like. He became iconic.
Yeah.
That's a
Uh,
word that people overuse. But Spider-Man is iconic. Wolverine is
right.
iconic. Captain America, like look,
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
I'm messing up. I can't
That's it.
figure out.
That's it.
Oh, there we go. Get that.
There you go. There you go.
That's an icon right there.
Yep.
Everybody knows what this means.
Well, people were wearing these shield shirts. They were available at Walmart, and I saw them everywhere. And it was like I saw more shield shirts than I was seeing Batman, which is like very rare to see in normiedom, And so he had superseded, and so when I saw that they had made him say "Hell Hydra," I I said that that's the end. You don't come back from that. That's the
Yeah,
Rubicon.
yeah.
Um, I was kind of grilled the other night that, they've done this to Captain America before, but now there's something about having him do it voluntarily. And it was right after he kicked a friend of his out the door, and it was a villainous act they basically went back and rebooted him to be a villain. It changed him like fundamentally.
Right. And I don't blame the writer for writing that. I blame the editors for letting it go through.
The editor should have put the kibosh on that. They
Right.
should have. And the fact that the editorial didn't understand why they couldn't allow that to happen. That basically told me everything I needed to know about where Marvel was headed. And it absolutely it's played out since then. It played out exactly like I foresaw it.
I with Pete Rock. First off, Pete lives in Arizona, so I'm sure he has dry skin.
Hey,
And he was on my channel on Sunday. We talked about heavy metal music. But anyway,
there you go.
He says it fascinates me that these people keep their jobs. Doesn't sales count? Well,
they do not.
Sales do not. Sales do not count, and they keep their job because they're doing what they're hired to do, which is fundamentally change comics, not to get readership.
No, this is Marxist ideology. You basically you see the pillars of culture and you tear them down so you can replace it, and so. Yeah.
So let me ask you, Connor. I'm going to assume that you and I are around the same age.
Cooper.
Oh, Cooper. I'm sorry. This is
totally fine.
This is 4 live chats that I got the names wrong. I'm doing.
Oh, no worries. Don't
I'm
worry
doing
about
great.
it.
Cooper.
Yep.
What Now I embarrassed myself and I lost my train of thought.
Oh, no
Okay,
problem.
so you and I are about the same age. I'm going to assume. I'm not going to ask you your age.
Yeah.
You've been growing up reading comics, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I assume at one point you stopped reading the big two.
Mm-hmm. I sure did.
I'm curious what year. I'm just making a mental tally in my brain because.
Well, I kind of gotten out of it before then, but it was kind of like something that I just stepped away from temporarily and tended to go back to, which is why I didn't know this when it happened. But I was starting to already, get disenchanted with some things that I was seeing, and when I saw that, I really got out of it. And then by the time I came back and tried to get back into it, Marvel Now had happened and nothing was the same. They rebooted everything.
Yeah.
They race swapped and gender swapped everybody. Yeah. And so by the time I saw that happen, there was no way back. There was no way back in. And
right. To the point where even if they course correct right now, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're like me, but I'm a compulsive comic book collector.
Yeah.
So if I was to get back into Captain America, I would have to get these 8 years because I stopped at 2015. I was wondering if you stopped around the same year as me. So I stopped at 2015, but I would have to get these 8 years to because that's what collectors do, and then I have to read them, and I'd be miserable.
Exactly. Well, it's like I was telling somebody. You can't you don't understand. There's no way back from where they've gone. They have opened up Pandora's. They've opened up Pandora's box. So anybody that comes in knows that these characters are basically their bitch, so they can do whatever they want to with them.
I did a video of how Marvel could course correct and fix it.
Yeah,
and you're an old Captain America fan. You got to remember the Mad Bomb story, right? Do you remember the Mad Bomb? Just remember, there was one Mad Bomb that would make a city block go crazy. There was a second Mad Bomb that would make an entire city go crazy. And the third Mad Bomb that never detonated can make a country go crazy. Well, there was a fourth Mad Bomb. If I was to take over Marvel Comics, I would have a big, long, convoluted story that I don't want to steal from your limelight, but it would be the fourth Mad Bomb that an entire country went crazy. And then when they deactivated it, everybody's like, did I marry, like Iron Man goes, did I marry a villain? Spider-Man's like, didn't I marry Mary Jane and I made a deal with the devil? Like they all come. And then I think they have to remember it. It has, because I feel like, if I take over Ironsides, I do the fourth book. Yeah. And then I say, forget everything Cooper did. This, you know what I mean? That's disrespectful. So you have to acknowledge what happened before, whether it was good, whether it was bad, and then use it to make. So there you go. The Mad Bomb.
You go. There you go.
Mad
exactly.
Marvel. That's why I've been tweeting Mad Bomb Marvel.
There you go. There you go.
So you made up your own comic.
Yeah. I did. This guy is different. It wouldn't be right to just make my own Captain America and just rubber stamp. And so this guy is completely distinctive from Captain America. He actually
really like his design.
Yeah, he actually predates Captain America. He goes all the way back to the founding of the country. He actually came over on the boat as a Irish slave, and he was purchased by a man with a printing press who was quietly printing Thomas Paine's Common Sense in the middle of the night. And this guy had him be his typesetter and taught him to read and everything. It was the first positive male figure he'd ever had. And the British caught on to what was happening and drug him out in the street and beat him to death in front of him. And so now that he was a free man because, the guy who owned his contract was gone, he was officially freed. He joined the rebellion, made that his life's goal to join the rebellion. And during the course of that, a strange event happened to him that gave him powers.
Okay.
And he became the first powered person. This is a world where powered people exist. And so that's why the the histories are like subtly different from ours.
Right.
It's like a
Yeah.
parallel universe.
Yeah. It has to be because we don't
Yeah.
have superheroes.
Right. Well, the Continental Congress believe in him to be being to be immortal because he beat someone called the Red Death who had a death touch, and uh, and he came back from that.
You
So
can't
they
be a superhero when you get the death touch. Yeah.
exactly, and well, he came back and kicked the guy's butt, and so they're thinking, okay, this guy's immortal. So the problem with powered people had occurred to Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin, and so they're like, well, the only way this works is if we make it para government, and so they put him over this and wrote him into the Constitution. So he had a constitutional mandate,
Okay.
and so he was to
I
oversee.
take it you're a history person also.
I certainly am, yes, sir. But he had a constitutional mandate. He was overpowered people for the over 200, or close to 200 years, and then something happened in 1970. He was ambushed with this crystallizing ray, this
I
alien
keep my copy
crystallizing
of
ray.
my Declaration of Independence and Constitution right here on my desk.
There you go. There you go. Right, right. Um, well, so what you see is him after the crystallizing ray. His regeneration was compromised. He was aging slower. He wasn't aging human normal, but he was aging slower. So 50 years later, he looks like he's in his 60s now, or late 50s, early 60s, and still muscular, still in good shape. But um, because the ray like hit his arm all the way up to here, and when he held his hand out to protect himself, Ray went through and hit his eye, and so he's blind in one eye, and his arm doesn't work. Um, but they basically gave him a retirement, but they moved him over into they gave him like a commission. They made him colonel, and so
Okay.
he became Colonel Ironsides. And they moved him over into the intelligence apparatus because he still had his brain. He still had the
Oh,
mind that made him Ironsides the hero. And
oh,
so, but what he didn't realize till 50 years on is that they were basically writing him out of culture, and that they were shuffling him off to the side, basically. And so
they're mothballing him.
they're mothballing him.
Yeah.
And then the young punk that was over him
Is
let it
this
slip.
all? You're not giving away your story, right? This is
Mm-mm.
all like back.
This is all in the campaign, so this
Okay.
is nothing
Okay.
that you won't read. But he basically realizes that he's been handled, that he's being sidelined, and so he quits his job very memorably. The young punk tells him that we don't you're a dinosaur. I'm babysitting a dinosaur here. We do everything assessments by computer now, and so he goes in there. He writes his resignation, goes in, puts it in the guy's pocket, grabs him by his shirt, and lifts him up against the wall, and says, "Next time you do an assessment, do one on me. You'll find it informative." He lowers him back down, but and walks out, and he quits.
I
But
like I like the concept. So he's like a tough, strong,
yeah,
patriotic American hero who's
yeah,
been there from the beginning.
right, right.
Yeah.
On the way home, he intervenes in a subway. Um, he's always had these minders that watched him everywhere he went to make sure he didn't be a hero. He slips them for the first time in all these years, and and on the way home he intervenes and his arm moves, and he can see suddenly when he
Hmm.
powers up, and he figures out they lied about that too, and so and so he handles the business that is in front of him, and basically starts exploring his power, exploring the power that he has now. It's different from what he could do before. He's always had a gravitational power, but he has denser body than the normal human, which is why they thought he was bulletproof. Why they called him Ironsides. Well, anyway, the Ironsides came later, but
That's a great name for a patriotic hero.
Yeah, well, it happened because his friend, his best buddy, Killhauler, who was a
Heel hauler.
Killhauler.
I don't know what he looks like, but I'm picturing a superhero pirate.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. But he was a privateer during the Battle of New Orleans, 1812, and
I just have to ask. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a professor or are you a teacher of history?
A history buff from way back.
Okay.
But he was standing up on the bulwark while they were getting broadsides from a British frigate, and he yells up there and he says, he's like, "What do you think? You're bulletproof? Get down!" He said, "Well, who do you think you are, Ironsides?" Because Ironsides, the Constitution, USS Constitution, was active, and it was reputed to be ironclad.
Yeah.
Because cannonballs would bounce off of it.
But it's wooden. It's not ironclad, right?
No, it's not. It was wooden, right?
Yeah. I think I learned that only about 5 or 6 years ago. I thought
right.
Ironsides was iron.
It was just a different kind of wood that was available in the New World. It wasn't available anywhere else in the world, so they weren't used to that kind of wood being the hardness of that wood. So he started like nicknaming Ironsides. It's like, oh no, here we come, who comes old Ironsides, and people just started calling him Ironsides, and they just and that's basically where he got his name. Before that, he was called the Cast Iron Continental.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That sounds nice and old fashioned. Yeah.
Right. But that's pretty much. Yeah.
Cooper sent me a trailer, I think, and I'm an old Luddite, and I even figured out how to do it. So I'm kind of proud of myself. So I think this would be a time to show the trailer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there anything you need to set up before I hit play?
No, it's pretty much self-explanatory.
Okay. I haven't watched this yet. So
one thing,
sure.
the voiceover is actually Orson Welles doing, and the speech is Patrick Henry's "Give me liberty, give me death." So
cool. All right, here we go. Here's the trailer to Ironside.
Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet? Has to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others. As for me, give me liberty or give me death.
there you go.
Cool. I like the costume design.
Thank you.
Like I said, I'm partial to a patriotic superhero.
Right.
And I put Superman in the patriotic superhero category too.
I do too.
So I get very protective over the patriotic superhero. I mean, I get patriotic over all the Marvel DC characters, but especially the patriotic ones. I think they should be handled differently, and I think they shouldn't be used as propaganda pieces and mouth. But if you created it, like if Jack Kirby and Joe Simon wanted to have Captain America say something, that's their baby. That's the, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't feel like some person who's been in comics for 4 months has the right to what I really meant was that. No. But anyway, it's good to see you creating your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, did you make that trail yourself?
The animation was an outfit called Rare Glory, and I repurposed it intercut some and added the soundtrack in the
So
over.
that's original art from the series, and then
Mm-hmm.
you resurrected Orson Welles, which is pretty cool. I got to give you kudos.
Well, if you're gonna get somebody to do Patrick Henry's speech, who else you gonna get? Honestly,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, the guy terrified a country with just the sound of his voice. So if you're gonna get the voice of God, is probably,
and he terrified an entire restaurant with the size of his gut. So
there you go. Well, if you're going to I honestly, I think the sound of the voice of God's going to sound like Orson Welles myself. I just do.
That's cool. That's all right. That's something to think. So I'm laughing inside because I play a role-playing superhero game with my buddies.
Oh, really?
Village of Vigilantes. And it came out in like 1982, and I've been the champion of this. Now, my friend Mike, we all get together less and less frequently as we get older. But Mike has made a patriotic superhero character called Colonel Marshall Strong. So Colonel Strong.
Right.
When I saw Ironsides, it's as if Colonel Strong is, and I just think like, you gotta have a team up with Mike's character.
There you go. I already got my figure ready. So
that's awesome. How'd you make that?
A friend called Bad on Face. He made it for me. He just he wanted a challenge, and he's like, I need a challenge, and I was like, oh, I got a challenge for you, and so he had to make the arm. It's called the glass arm, but it's actually the hardest substance in that world. Kind of a nod to Captain America's shield, but
is there a name for that substance?
No, it's the ray in question. They believe it was used to create warp crystals. If you go to a new planet, you need a warp crystal, for the engine. Yeah, like the lithium. Yeah, a little bit of stilling there. Right.
That ship went and got it. I know there.
Right. But he was. They were basically, because of his ability to regenerate and come back. It happened 9 times in the course of his life.
Okay.
And so they figured the only way to get him gone permanently is to transform him into this crystal. And but the person that they had basically mind controlled to do it broke the mind control long enough to destroy the machine. What unfortunately meant that they couldn't reverse it, but it saved his life. Basically, now his ability, his gravity power can extend beyond his body. But he's still working out how that happens.
Before we go any further, is this live? Is this a live campaign right now? And if so, where is it?
It is. It's over Fund My Comic.
And if the link is in the description, everybody. You could go down there and you could go to. I had Luke Stone from Fund My Comic on. What a wonderful guy! And he's not just a business guy. He's a comic creator himself.
So he actually did one of the covers.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, the Iwo Jima cover is his.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an homage to Iwo Jima, the raising of the flag. It's Colonel Ironsides it's Ironsides back then, but he has a group called the Freedom Five because he's not within the chain of command. He would take heroes from all 4 branches and form his core group of people that were around him. They usually rotated out or they got injured or retired, but basically the core group of guys in that picture were the core group when he got ambushed. And so in a way, this first book is like their book because they're all in it one way or another. But it's basically, this arc is what happens basically is that he's not only when he's retired, it's like they basically told him that basically you're useless. We're not paying attention to you, whatever. You're irrelevant. But as soon as he retires, they try to kill him.
Okay.
So in other words, they consider him a threat. They consider him a really huge threat. But the guy they sent to kill him turned out to be an ex Freedom 5 member, and basically this guy was auditioning for this guy that for 50 years had been undercover trying to infiltrate the group behind the government.
So
behind.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cough on you. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
This sounds like you have a big world, a big long-term plans. So let me ask you: do you have an end story in sight? Is this a continuing series? Is this four issues?
It's a continuing series. This first,
so as long as this sells, you'll make Ironsides.
Yes, that definitely.
That's good.
Well, it's good. The community service universe is definitely, it's got legs. It's got it's got absolutely the amount of stories I can tell are not limited. Because of the nature of this universe, I can tell lots of different stories with it. And basically this first arc is basically just he's trying to get these group of criminals out of this kill box that they're basically being put into. And this group of criminals is the first community service group. Right now, there's only 3 things that can happen if you're a powered person. They call them expressors.
Expressors. Okay. That's the superhero word.
Yeah, that's the name for powered people. Is expressors. Okay. If you're an expressor, you've only got 3 things that you can do with your life. Okay. You can work for the government. You can live unpowered but watched, monitored, or you can be a criminal. That's the only 3 options you have. And they managed to push something. They managed to push something through Congress, a 4th option called community service, and this is the first pilot program that's going out. But the people who the 28th Amendment was basically created a organization called the FERA.
Could you volunteer to become an expressor, or is it like a accident birth?
No, they've tried for years to try to figure out how to create expressors, and nothing's ever been successful.
And let me ask you: is there a commonality? One? Is it like the Marvel universe where one guy gets bit by a radioactive spider and another guy cosmic ray? Or is there one way that you become an expressor? But
the power and the fabric of this very universe is these tiny little machines that they don't understand. They can't, no one's ever really been able to lay eyes on because they're microscopic. Nanites, very much so. Yeah. But basically, for some reason, in some people, they switch on, and the first thing they do when they switch on is they ask the host what they want them to do.
Oh, okay.
But it's so natural to you that you don't know you're being asked. Most people.
So it's almost like it brings out your inner.
Yeah.
We all read comic books as a kid because they always say they're power fantasies. Yeah. So these nanites would trigger your latent or subconscious power fantasy.
Right. Exactly.
Just don't do it to me. I'd hate to find out.
Right. Now, if you're born to an expressor, you're more likely to become an expressor because.
So the nanites are passed through. Now,
right.
I'm guessing now because that's just my nature, and I can't help but pick things apart, and it drives my wife crazy when we go to the
problem.
So these nanites from again, he was the first one in there.
Well, they're called Soltrons.
Soltron. Okay, so I'm assuming they're alien in origin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's assumed that they're alien of origin.
We can't give away plot points.
No, I mean, they don't know if they're alien or they're ancient human.
Do you know? Do you have all this all planned out? That's great.
Well,
World building is fun.
it's assumed that they were a terraforming project by some culture somewhere, either alien or
Oh, cool.
native to
Okay.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, world building is fun.
Right, exactly. But it's because they're basically the fabric of the
I apologize
world.
for the cough.
Yeah, but it keeps expressors are very rare. They're less than 2% of the population. So that's why when the 28th Amendment was proposed, people, just because they were afraid of these people, the press had really built them up to be afraid of them. And since Ironsides was down, people were scared enough that they created a federal organization to overlook it, called the FERA, which is the Federal Express Regulatory Agency. There's even a seal. I've even got a seal for it.
It showed up in the trailer.
Yeah. And and basically, that there's a power behind that,
So it sounds like you have a deep world that's been very thought out. Let me ask you, how long have you been thinking? Is this something that you thought of as a child, or is this something that came out of your disappointment with modern comics?
Well, everything's been built in my head for decades, and then 2020, when we were all shut down, I finally had time to do something about it.
Yeah.
And
were you out of work?
Yeah, I was out of work, and it all came fully formed. My World Bible took all of an afternoon to jot down. It's like it just all came fully formed. It's like everything just came out of my head at one time. Hey, what's up, Wiki?
I got to say,
yeah,
Telepathic Bunny, you're bringing your fans. My chat is lighting up, so thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Are you an artist, or do you just write?
I tried to the first little while that I was out of work, I tried to teach myself. I had art supplies that was given to me for Christmas that I'd been working on for months, and I got good enough to do like portraiture, but I wasn't good enough to do sequential art. So I knew it was going to be years before I got that good. So
yeah, with art, I feel like you either born with this natural talent, and all you could do is develop it. Because like I've been drawing my whole life, and I'm absolutely 100% terrible, to the point where I showed some of my art as a joke, and I was like, hey, anybody could bid on this, and not even as a joke did anybody want to.
Well, I was actually got good enough to where I could I was able to use a template to design Ironsides.
Okay, so you drew it out,
yeah. So I designed Ironsides and then found somebody to do the character work for me.
And same artist. You said this is going to be 3 books.
No, this was a different artist. The different artist did my character work. Did the work on the book.
Okay.
The work on the book is actually that guy was named Arksider. He's actually a video game developer.
Oh, cool.
The guy that's there's a couple that's doing the book called Babusco Comics, and they're from Brazil. And Ed does the pencil work, and she does the coloring.
Oh, cool.
And together they have a magic, and it's just it's given my book a very unique look to it. Good. I'm very happy with.
And is it mostly complete?
It's actually halfway. But the reason why it's already plotted out and everything is the back half is ready to go. Cool. But I held it because I wanted, one of my tiers is the ability to create a character for the book. And so it's not just a cameo. It's not just the background. Cool. This is you can create a expressor for the book.
Oh, okay.
And would you be hero, villain, somebody on the sideline? It doesn't even have to be an expressor, but basically it's put somebody in my universe. It's going to be you're going to get a design credit, but they're going to be in my universe.
That sounds fun. That's a good way to get people engaged.
Yeah.
So how cool is that to hold an action figure of your character?
Yes. The day it came in, I showed it to everybody, and they're like, wow, you know. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way to mass produce it. I looked into it, and I don't currently have the.
Yeah.
I'm hoping as we go, and you know,
because I really do. I like the design. I like the way your character looks. You know,
yeah.
You know. So when I saw the picture of Ironsides, I was like, again. I mean, look at this. I been kept.
Right.
I can't even point to the right things. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm big fan.
Well,
of
both of them are technically right, so there you go.
You know, you know, Red Cross is the shield. I love. You know,
yeah,
all the you know, just
well,
patriotic superhero.
The thing about Ironsides that separates him from Captain America is
the
Ironsides.
Powers.
Yeah, there you go. But Ironsides,
I'm sorry, did I step on you?
No. Ironsides is very practical.
Okay.
And basically, while Captain America was operating within the government structure, Ironsides is basically starting a new revolution. What he's basically he was there for the first revolution, and now he's going to be the spark for the second one. And so there you go. But essentially,
this is my buddy Cam. He's
okay.
that he's bidding on my artwork.
All right.
So far, you're winning. Zero is in the lead.
There you go. You know, I basically I wanted my character to be most of the time elderly guys are kind of like shoved off to the side. They're kind of like background characters. They're like the instigator or the mentor or whatever, and they're never really given like they're never really the hero. And they always have like a young person or young hero or young somebody like that because everybody's obsessed with the hero's journey.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want something different. I want my guy to be a hero. I mean, he's established. He's done the hero's journey.
He has a history already. Now,
yeah,
that brings up a good point. So your character, like you said, he's been around since the birth of the nation. So he's been around for a century or two, and now you're writing the comic. He's already experienced. He's already leveled up, as those kids say. Are you going to tell stories in his past at some point? He's
got an entire history that goes back decades, and I've got plenty of stories I can tell.
Like that would be fun. You have like your main Ironsides comic, and then you know how like we have Amazing Spider-Man and then Spectacular Spider-Man.
Right.
The Continental Ironsides.
Well, there is a when the Soltrons turn on in someone, there's something called a maintenance protocol that kicks in. And so people that are expressors can live centuries. And so, you know, if somebody's an expressor, you're not really sure how old they are. You know, because there's a chronological age and then there's an actual or parent age.
Okay.
And so you could have some, like a couple of my characters look like they're in their 20s, late 20s, and both of them are 85 years or over 80 years old. So,
like everybody.
But you know, one of them's so immature that she's been a debutante for over 80 years. So, you know, but who knows? She could be older. Who knows? That makes it interesting. Like Killhauler, his best buddy, Killhauler actually was formerly mistaken for a Greek god. So he's actually a son of another expressor that we know is Poseidon.
Okay.
So he's been around a while. But I've had fun with a lot of you know. I'm a character first guy. I don't create people to just be their powers.
You know, what's funny with me is I got some criticism that I like to talk about, but I've been world building for 20 years, and I've been telling a friend of mine about my idea,
Mm-hmm.
He's been very patient. I'm not naming names. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. He's been very patient, very good criticism. And then one day he goes, you haven't told me any characters.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I don't want to read about your world. I want to read about your characters.
Right.
And I had to really sit down and best advice I've ever gotten is doesn't matter how fascinating my world is if my character, so there you go.
Well, my philosophy is I don't care about your world. I don't care how cool it looks. I don't care about the mechanics of it. I want to care about the people in it.
Right. That's basically what he said. But he said, yeah.
I mean, we've got some big names in our movement, and they've got gorgeous books. That the art is jaw dropping, and they got really cool concepts. But I don't care about any of the characters in the book, so it doesn't matter. I don't reread the book because I can put the book down. If they're in peril, and I can put the book down. If that happens, I know that I don't have a good book. But if I care what happens to your character, I'll go back. I'll come back again. I'll keep buying your book. Hybrids. I've got everything that Luke Stone's put out. Because his Hybrids universe has characters in it I genuinely love.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed it, and I got to go back. I've been talking to this about everybody who's been coming on my channel lately. It's there's a comic book renaissance going on. There's no doubt about it. There's a golden age going on, but it requires a lot of effort and work on the creators' parts because I don't want to. Again, I'm not here to insult anybody, but I had somebody on and I asked directly, is there a future in crowdfunding? Is this the way it works? Because I'm interested in comic books. I love comic books. I mean, you could look behind me and you could see my channel. I've been doing this for 3 years. I'm having talks with people. I'm going out of my way, and I'm still missing cool stuff like Luke Stone. I feel bad saying it, but the truth is the truth. I just missed it because now my brother casually likes comics. Now, he's not going to wake up one day and turn on a computer and look at a website to find a comic. Like we need to get comics into his.
Well, I'm sure Luke told you he's working on that.
Yes, he did. For those of you who don't know, Luke came on my channel. He, we had a really wonderful talk. I expressed my concerns about the future of crowdfunding, and he had an answer for everything I said. So, you reminded me. I'll put a link in the description to fund my comic to Luke's website.
Well, ultimately, crowdfunding is a temporary solution.
You think it's temporary?
It's a larval stage for where we're headed.
A stopgap.
Yeah, it's a stopgap. What right now? I mean, the big guys, they get the 6-figure, campaigns. They get people throw money at them and stuff like that. But the people who intrigue me, the people I'm interested in, are the ones that never sniffed the mainstream. The mainstream would spit on if they were on fire. But they've had characters in their hearts for all these decades, and they love comics. They marinated in comics, and they have like worlds that they've built up in their heads. Like all comic book readers have worlds that they build in their head, and they don't, most of us just don't stop at Marvel and DC. Most of us have our own worlds in our heads, and what I'm interested is those worlds. I'm interested in the ones that are just gestating in someone's heart somewhere. That somebody that especially with the current like CRT hiring practices and HRs of these comic book companies. I want to see this
earlier before that I wanted to see. Now I've seen if I could scroll back and find it.
No problem.
Now I can't find it, but you were talking and I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
But somebody said, now I can't find it. Oh well, but they said they haven't built anything.
Yeah.
They haven't built anything.
No.
I wish I could find and give the gentleman the credit, But anyway,
Yeah, I think it was probably Immortal Rising.
okay. Well, when I find, but so and I was going to ask you this, and then of course the nature of conversation, we go off on tributaries of the main river.
It's actually Shadowhawk Talks. It's up there.
Oh, Shadowhawk. Okay.
Yeah, it's the first comment.
Oh, there you go. Yep, you're absolutely right. These people only know how to tear down. They don't know how to build anything of use. That made me think of a point. And you and I were talking about we got tired of comics around pretty much the same time. I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'm going to ask you from 2010 till now, what is the great comic book story from the mainstream?
I don't.
Civil War,
I guess.
What is the great comic book story from, but we could all pick one from the 90s.
Yeah.
We could pick a bunch from the 80s. We could pick hundreds from the 70s and 60s. That was my point. There is none. There is none. Know, and now that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has even moved out of the 90s,
right?
It's petering. Now they got to stand on their own 2 feet. They
well,
off the
what happened? What happened is what I expected to happen when I Hey, there you go. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's
well, what happened around Marvel now? These people came into Marvel Comics specifically to infiltrate the MCU, because the MCU was the cultural power, and that's what they wanted. And so they made all these changes to Marvel Comics, hoping to eventually move that over to MCU, and that's what we've got now.
Yep.
This is plan 1 all along. Sama Amanat is the architect of it, and as soon as I saw her move over into MCU, I was like, okay, that's what's coming, because she's the architect of Marvel now. She's the patient zero for all the wokeness that happened to Marvel.
I will say that Brian Michael Bendis is patient zero.
Well, he certainly aided and abetted.
I have a friend who he ended up selling his comic book store during COVID, but he would tell me like at least once a week a new face would come in, and that's something you want in any business, not just a comic book store. A new face would come in, a happy dad with a happy kid, and the father would be like, "Yeah, we just saw Thor." The new MCU, and my son loved it. He can't stop smashing things with the hammer. I wish he would stop that. So I figured, I like comic books. Let's buy a comic book. And the kid picks it up, and it's Jane Foster, and he's like, "This isn't the guy I just saw in the movie." And then he goes, "All right, you know what? Let's get Captain America."
Yeah, that's what happened.
Sam Wilson.
They all showed up at an event, and all these people, distributors and people like that in the comic book shops, and they were saying that
they got shot down.
They got shot down. They made fun of them. Yeah. They made fun of them.
They got shamed into silence.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a video that
that was 2012, I think that was when that event happened. For those of you who do not know what T Bunny's talking about, there's a convention of retailers, a retail convention. So it's not like you just walk in there and buy comic. You have to own a comic book store. I've been to a few of them when my friend Larry owned a comic book store.
Yeah.
And it's shop talk for people. And these people went nuts, and they were yelling and screaming, "We can't sell these books." They were telling the same story I'm telling. The guy comes in, he wants to buy Iron Man comic book. Iron Man's now a teenage girl. This Robert Downey Jr. is making $1 billion a movie, and I can't sell a comic book. And these retailers they got mortgages to pay, they got kids or whatever, and and they're being told that they were alt-right Nazis or whatever nasty words were.
Istophobes,
and istophobes, and they were silenced, and
most of let's face it, most of these comic book shop owners are liberals. They are they're all politically left.
Yeah, but they still don't want to go broke.
They still don't want to go broke, but it got so bad that even they were having a problem with it. But then they shamed them into silence, because they're like, "Oh, well, are you this or are you that? Are you conservative? Are you a Trump supporter? Blah blah blah." And because of their terror of that side of the aisle, they basically went quiet and they let it happen. And and that's why it's one of the reasons why today it's so hard to get indie comics into these shops, because especially if you're part of the Comicsgate movement, because they're told that you're the enemy, and we've got IPs in Comicsgate that could save these shops.
I've had conversation with the professionals. Oh, sorry, you froze up. I thought you.
No, I'm here.
I don't mean to talk over, but you froze up. I thought you were quiet. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem.
What were you saying?
I'm just saying we have IPs that could save these shops. Right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: is like I'm sure you're not gonna tarnish your character. Ethan Van Sciver is not going to do anything to make Cyberfrog bad. No. Luke Stone is not going to. The Hybrids, that's his comic.
Hybrids, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you got skin in the game. You know, it's your stuff. Like and you're not going to hire me to write your story and then find out that I've been making Ironside's a communist spy the whole time behind every. You know what I mean?
No,
that wouldn't get passed. Yeah.
Well, one thing about Ironsides is there's nothing you could do to change that guy's core character. There's nothing you could do to alter him, because he's died 9 times, and all 9 times he came back and he chose to be a patriot.
Okay,
that's how ingrained it is to him. In that all 9 times, the person that came back might have been altered personality wise in some way, but they were all patriots, and so. Okay. This is somebody, and right now he's vulnerable. Right now he's mortal. He's not even as dense as he used to be, because it's been 50 years since he's exercised his power, and so he can bleed and take damage. And yet he's offered the chance to save these people and change the narrative and strike a blow against this organization that sidelined him.
Okay.
And he doesn't hesitate. He can walk away. They think he's dead. He can walk away. They've already got his. The press already have their talking points. They're going to announce his death even before they find his body, and he's essentially walk away. He can walk away.
My buddy Cam here saying he's trying to think of a great story from the Big Two. Since
still thinking. Keep going.
And you know what? If Cam can't recall it, nobody can.
Exactly.
I as much as I think I know about comics, Cam blows me away. So
there you go.
Thank you for proving my point, Cam.
But I mean, but he gets a chance. He can just walk away. He can retire. And there's this fight that he has with Killhauler. Killhauler's one last chance to try to talk sense into him. One last chance to get him, dissuade him from this path. It's like you could walk away. This is none of your business now. They made sure of that. And
later on, would you mind sending me a picture of Keelhauler? I just think it's a cool name. I'm just curious what it
yeah, I can. I
can't help but picture a guy covered in barnacles, because that's what they did. They dragged you over the ship and
no, he's not covered in barnacles. He's yeah, it won't take me long. Let me pull one up for you.
Okay.
This but yeah, he tries to talk him out of it, and Ironsides says, you think I don't know? You think I don't remember? Who else is going to stand up to him? He's like, I can't let this go, because if I let this go, I'm dead already.
Okay.
Because that's who it's like. Hero is not what you do. Hero is who you are, and that's he knows that better than most people. Let me see. Let's see. All right. This is a good picture of him. All right. Hold on a second. Bring it up for you.
Okay, cool. I'm just curious, because I do like that name. I have a thing about superhero names, and I'm kind of curious if what I'm picturing is probably not, because I'm insane.
I don't know that he's going to be what you. Right. Yeah. All right, there you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, that's Keelhauler. And what's his powers?
Yeah. He can create hard water constructs.
Okay.
They're not ice; they're actually still water, but they are
Okay.
they
Like
basically
Green
he
Lantern
can. Yeah, it's like Green Lantern, but except he uses
with
water.
water. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, I mean he's got really cool. It's a really cool power set. Let me see here. What else have I got? Let me bring this up real quick.
Okay. Want me to remove this?
No need. No
Okay.
need. Let me go back to here and okay. Do I have the picture here? Yeah, let's see. I don't have the picture, but let me show you this real quick. This is a like a group picture of the Freedom 5. Let me bring this up real quick. Where's it at? Where's it at?
Cam, I have to agree with you there. I was actually excited about that series.
A
really good story would be the Scott, the Dan Slott, Allred, Silver. First off, anything with Mike Allred, I'm a big fan of. But that was a good series. I really enjoyed that one. It breaks my heart the way that I've met Dan Slott 4 or 5 times, got along with him, and now the guy is calling me names on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, but this is the Freedom 5 here.
Okay,
You've got.
So we'll start. See, I don't know. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's this character?
Actually, I can't see you.
Oh, you can't. Oh, so I'm starting at the beginning. The guy saluting.
Okay, that is Sidewinder.
Sidewinder. Okay.
Yeah. His power is that he can't be hit.
Okay.
He's also edged weapon expert. He represents the Marines.
Okay, and then that's Keel Hauler.
That's Keel Hauler. He represents the Navy.
And that's
Ironside's in the middle.
Okay, he was young, so I didn't expect that. Okay.
Well, at this point, he's about 170 some years old. Anyway.
Spring chicken. And the gun.
The guy with the guns. That is Deadeye.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually former. He actually survived. He's the only survivor of Little Bighorn. There's a Indian power that jumped to him, and so he basically sees the truth in all things.
Okay, and the last gentleman,
that is Black Thunder.
Okay.
He can create resonant frequencies.
Okay.
It's not exactly a sonic scream, but he can create resonant frequencies. Resonant frequencies, actually, you can create an earthquake with resonant frequency.
Okay, cool.
So it's what Nikola Tesla did. But his 2 sons are going to be a big part of the series moving forward. He's got one as a hero, one's a villain.
Okay.
But they're twin sons. So Black Jack and White Noise is their names. But
okay.
But yeah, it's that's like the core group of guys that's going to be all through this first book.
Okay.
So
I get I wake up at 3:30 in the morning now for work. So I kind of I wanted to get you on here. I knew it was a late.
No problem.
I can't go on much longer because I need to go.
I totally get it. Thank you
for coming on tonight. Is there anything you want to say to take us out?
Yeah, just click on community service, check it out. If you have any
description,
it's in the description. You have any questions? I'm available. Telepathic Bunny anywhere. I have a channel called The Rabbit Hole, and it's basically writing centric, but I also do some pop culture stuff.
Cool. And the campaigns are live right now.
Campaign is live right now. It will be live all the way through the end of September with an option to extend.
Okay, cool. Good luck, man. I think it's great to have, is this your first campaign?
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, cool.
It's actually my second. I was part of the Out of Obscurity campaign.
Okay, cool, cool.
That's I have a story in it.
I love having small creators. We'll talk about stuff, learning about new comics. Again, this is a golden age of comics.
Yes, it is.
It takes a little bit of work to learn about stuff.
Well, we call it the Iron Age.
This is the Iron Age. Okay.
This is the Iron Age, yeah.
All right.
Back to basics. No frills.
No frills.
We're going back to the basics. So
okay. All right, you know what? I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. A light bulb just went off in my head.
There you
I've
go.
been here in the Iron Age for a couple of days now, and it. All right.
Yep.
Thank you. And
That's
what
it stands for.
I got to get ready for bed. I got to wake up and do it all over again in 100 degree heat tomorrow.
Oh, bless your heart.
Thanks a lot, everybody, and thank you guys for coming. This chat was lit. This is a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.
All right. No problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.